Tim, you know all about this game. You've played in it, you've managed in it, and you've scored an absolute cracker in a North London derby.
And it was a winner. Could you mention that, please? It was a winning goal.
You scored a cracking winning goal.
I remember this goal. It was a free kick from the left-hand side, and just whipped it past David Seaman. And I remember it now. The roar of the crowd. I mean, the noise when this hits the back of the net was just incredible. After the game, I went into the players' lounge, and my dad was in there, who's a huge Arsenal fan. And when I saw his face, I thought someone in the family had just died. You know, he was devastated. The fact that I would do that to his team. And I was obviously very delighted.
Yeah.
You score in a North London derby, you get a lot of grace. You get a lot of bad games and people say, well, don't worry, he scored in a derby.
Yeah. Rachel, I think you and I were both wondering if the footage was going to be in black and white. That's great goal, Tim. What do you make of the North London derby? Because it's so electric. It's so, the atmosphere of Premier League football is electric anyway. And then you've got these two rivals that are separated by short distance. And everyone's talking about it. Everyone's hyped it up. What do you like about this game?
I think it just always brings a lot of action. I think when you're a player and I can't relate to this specific derby, but have played in derbies, and it's just different. It's so hard to put into words. And I think typically as well, this derby, it brings goals. There normally, I think, is a winner as well. I think the stats say there's normally a winner. So I think as fans, you look forward to that. And as a neutral as well, you hope there's lots of drama.
OK, we're going to talk specifics of this game, who's in, who's out, potentially. But before we do that, let's hear from the managers. And they both say this North London derby is huge for the clubs and for the fans.
How you doing, Ange? Right?
Good, Mark. Yeah.
Just get the team news pretty positive, is it?
So I guess internationals all came back okay. Biss is the only one that's obviously got an issue. It's not serious, but he's getting treatment today. We'll see if he can train tomorrow and make a decision there. Out of the other guys, Mickey van der Ven's all good. He's trained pretty fully through the international break, and Dom. Back half of this week, sort of joined with the first team, trained today. So again, we've got training tomorrow. If they get through all right, I guess we'll be available. Richie, Will Lancashire are the only two that other two that are in rehab.
You addressed it earlier in the summer, but Rodrigo Bentancur has now been charged by the FA. Potential hefty ban. Can I just get your reaction to the charge, please?
Yeah, not I guess unexpected from our perspective. We kind of knew that. It's something that the league would look at, and it's kind of, we need to let the process sort of play out now. And Rodrigo's well aware of the ramifications of any outcome from the panel, but we'll just wait and see what they come out with.
Special game Sunday. I was listening to you a few weeks ago talking about potential new cycles here, and Mikel Arteta probably went through a similar one. Do you see similarities of what he's building there to what you're trying to do at Tottenham Hotspur?
It's hard to say, because I guess every sort of situation is kind of unique in itself, because they're different clubs and I guess different different environments. But I've said before, there's obviously a way to sort of build. A team and a club and sort of go in a certain direction, and that always, for the most part, takes time. It's about finding the right people in the key positions, and all those things are club decisions, and as you go along, I guess clubs decide whether they want to continue down that road or not. The results aren't always there immediately, which is not surprising in this league, but I think for the most part, clubs that have sort of stuck to a certain direction because they believe they're heading in the right way, eventually sort of get to a place where their team is, competitive for a sustained period of time.
They're considered Manchester City's main title challengers, but I know you're ultra ambitious as well, and there's a lot of, between the clubs, who finishes above who. Do you think this current squad you've got now is capable of challenging Arsenal this season?
Well, not specifically Arsenal, but we want to be a club that can challenge everyone. So, that's what we're trying to aim to become. And to do that, you've got to perform at a certain level on a consistent basis. You've got to have a squad strong enough to do that, to withstand the challenges that inevitably come during the course of a season. But we've started the season fairly solidly from a performance perspective. Obviously, the results haven't reflected that, but I think we're in a good place to really, push on from last year and improve in all areas of our game. And if we do that, I mean, we got close to challenging last year. There's no reason why we can't this year.
That's good.
Thanks, mate.
Alex.
Hi, Ange.
Hey.
After what you've experienced in this huge fixture so far in your time here, how would you try and sum up the rivalry in North London?
I guess everyone, every sort of derby involved is a bit different. Obviously, this one, you can tell that it's fairly intense between the two clubs. Obviously, geographically, sort of situated in the same part of town. They're trying to defend the same turf, and there's always a little bit of an edge. I thought both games last year were, very entertaining. I thought we played well at their place and really matched it with them, and could have even won on the day. Here, we kind of at our place, we got blown away in the first half. Sort of tried to make game of it in the second half. So plenty of goals and exciting, and we know what it means to our supporters and what it means to the club. But like I said, for us, what's really important is we've got to go out there and perform. We've got to play our football, play well, because irrespective of the rivalry, they're a top side. So you need to do that.
What kind of impact could a win have on the rest of Tottenham's season?
Look, hard to say. I've never felt like there's an easy way to success. I don't think one thing determines, or can change a trajectory to a great effect, but it helps because it's not just a win in a big game, in a derby, but it's a win against one of the top sides. So, that gives you, I guess, more belief and confidence, and potentially that could sort of, inject some real momentum into our season. But, I've never been one to think that, just a win on the weekend is enough for us to say that, we're on the right course, and alternatively, if things don't go our way, that somehow we need to, change course.
Well, I'm really happy, really excitement. I think it shows the alignment between the club and myself and the coaching staff, that we are in this journey together, that we enjoy working together, that we have much higher ambitions, that we want to fulfill them. So that's the way that I look at it, and as I said, really, really pleased and grateful as well.
I think it was this week, 13 years ago, you made your debut as a player at Arsenal. So in terms of off the pitch...
Still look the same though.
You've aged very well.
Yeah.
But it's been a lucky 13, because I guess you wouldn't want to be anywhere else at the moment.
No, I couldn't think about a better place to be, to develop my career as a player, to experience such an amazing football club, the people that I met, the experiences that I had, and now as a manager, that has been something far beyond and better than what I ever dreamed about, probably.
We talked about lucky 13 there in terms of you've got a new deal, but unlucky 13, I guess, in terms of the news this week regarding Martin. What can you tell us about his injury?
We need some more tests, so let's see what happens in the next day or so, this afternoon probably, and see what happens, what is the extent of the injury, and how quickly we can get him back. He's super positive about everything. We know Martin, he wants to be there every single day, but we have to wait and see.
I know it's probably swelling, so it's impossible for you to give a proper prognosis, but having seen him, I'm sure you have seen him, is he hopeful that it might not be as bad as potentially you first thought?
I leave that to the doctor, but his will, there's no question about that. He wants to be present in every game, and obviously a big game like this one, but we need to make sure that we know, first of all, how good he can be or not.
But just to clarify, I know we can't read too much because of the swelling, but you're not ruling him out at this stage?
Players with 48 hours are always available, but let's see what happens.
And obviously other injury concerns as well. How's Mourinho coming on?
Better. It's a slow process because it's a bone and it takes a while to heal. He's progressing well. He's already doing some stuff. He's working extremely hard. We're using this time as well to make sure that he understands a lot of things that he has a lot of questions about. And when he's back, he's ready to go and impact the team.
Before the next international break, potentially? Or?
We don't know. Honestly, it's very difficult to understand the healing of the bone. I think the moment he has a lot of symptoms, you can speed it up very quickly because he hasn't lost anything else. But we have to wait and see.
Better news? Gabriel Jesus is out there with the
rest
of the players?
Gabi was out. He's got another session tomorrow if everything goes well, he will be ready to be selected in the squad, which is great news for us.
And I think I've not mentioned Fiore yet.
Yeah.
Any news on him?
Yeah, it's another one that we have to wait another day or so. Yeah.
All right. And what about Raheem? Obviously, he's had a chance to train with you a little while now. Would it be too early to give him a start against?
He looks great. First of all, because he's got a big smile on his face, a lot of energy. He's at it, and he wants to prove a point. And when someone's got that in his belly, you sense it straight away. And obviously, I don't need to discover anything about his quality and what he can bring to the team.
So that's a yes then. Yeah. And just a final thought: for the first time ever, Arsenal won't be wearing their red and white in the North London derby. I know it's nothing to do with the club, nothing to do with Spurs, but do you think that matters?
Well, it's not ideal. We wanted to play with our home kit and our colours, but it's not our decision, and we will adapt. We did it against Villa, we won, so hopefully you're going to bring very good luck as well.
Thank you.
George Whitting. Mikel, just on Raheem, when you say he wants a proof point, what's he been like in these last 2 weeks, and basically what's just going through his head about what he wants to achieve with you at Arsenal?
Well, what I see is hunger. He's a player that wants to play every minute of every game. When it's not the case, he's not happy. He loves football. He's what he likes doing every single day, and I see that. And his commitment, the level of energy that he's bringing to the team, and the quality is a big boost. You can feel it on the players as well. When he's walking through the door, we are better with him, and he's going to make us better.
He had a great run of goal scoring at Man City when you was there. Every season it seemed to go up. Can you both unlock that again, and how you see him play in your team? Because he had a knack of being in the right place at the right time with his goal scoring.
And he has this ability, and obviously the credit to that is his and the player that he's got around him. And you need that when you're one of the front players, certainly. He has that intuition, that will, and the ability to do that, and I'm sure he's going to impact the team.
Just going back to your contract, when you first joined Arsenal, it was a very different club to the one now. So just how's it evolving in the way you want it to, and what's next for Arsenal? You need to make the next step in winning major trophies.
Yeah. Well, in the way that I think we all wanted, because we wanted a very different club. And we are in the right direction. We have made some huge steps, and we have a lot still to make. And you sense that hunger from ownership to the board to all the players and staff here, and this is the aim and the objective.
And is there any club or country you would have left Arsenal for, or you were so settled on just
No. This is the emotional attachment that I have, that my family has, my kids have, the experience that I have, and the involvement with the people is too strong.
Okay, so we saw footage of Martin Odegaard getting onto a plane after that Norway game, after that horrible ankle injury. He was in a boot, probably a protective boot. And I think everyone around the world is saying he's going to be out for 3 weeks at least, because the Norway doctor said that. But you both seem to think differently. You say, I thought maybe mind games from Arteta, but you think he could play.
I think it's wrong to read into anything with a boot, because precautionary measures are always taken by physios now. They don't know until they have the ankle scan the day after, or when the swelling goes down. They don't know what the damage is. So it could be a sprain. If it's a sprain, you have to give him every opportunity to be fit. And that includes the 24 hours, 48 hours up to the game. I wouldn't rule him out. I really wouldn't. If he's damaged his ligaments, it's a different matter. Then he's going to... I played with damaged ligaments. But I would always ask the physio, I'd say, they're the experts. I would say, am I going to get worse? Am I going to miss 5, 6 play in one game? If they said no, I would get on with it, take some painkillers and play. It's up to the individual, and hopefully for Arsenal's sake, he will be fit.
Rachel, would you play in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, if there's any chance at all, I've probably got a habit of being a bit stubborn. I would really push to try and be available. I think the fact they're missing Rice, I think there's more likelihood they're going to be trying to do absolutely everything that they might otherwise take, less risk in a different game or when other players are available. Knowing his character, captain, I think he's going to, if there's any possibility, I think he's going to want to at least try. And, there'll be the images, and depending how bad it is and how he feels, because some players don't like to play in any pain. Yeah. You have other players who will play through it. So I would say there's a very good chance he could be in that
But
stand.
Rach, you know what it's like? It's the biggest game of the season. I mean, for me, from being from that area, when I went there as a player, I used to look and say, when are we playing Arsenal?
Yeah.
When I went to Tottenham as a manager, when's the Arsenal game? You look for it. And I think these boys, especially Odegaard, like Rachel said, with the armband on now, it means a lot for him. He does not want to miss this game. You know, it could be one of two. It could be more. They could draw each other in the cup competitions. But he will not want to miss it. So he'll give himself every chance to play.
Yeah, I think especially after Arsenal dropped points against Brighton. Let's remind you of those goals. Kai Havertz scored the opener for Arsenal. He's someone who's talked about moving into the midfield potentially if they need to reshuffle things in a big way there. What do you think about Arteta's plan B if he doesn't have Odegaard, because already he doesn't have Rice?
Yeah, I'm not sure that would be what I would immediately do. I think Havertz gets a bit of a tough gig, really. Just a lot of people, I don't think, give him as much credit. I don't know if it's because his demeanour, he's always very straight-faced. You don't see too much emotion, but I like him in the 9. I think he carries a lot of threat. I think he's had consistent in that position. I would keep him there. I think they've got other options. You know, they might look at Trossard almost coming in. I know he normally plays off the side, but he can be almost a good fill-in in that sort of central position as well. So I think they've other options.
Yeah, and this was the 1-1 goal. We just 1-1 game. We showed you the goal there from João Pedro as well. And you said definitely red card for Rice. You already gave us your opinion on that. Let's talk about Raheem Sterling then, because potentially a debut. Would you start him? I
would start him, yeah. I would drop Havertz back into, depending on whether Odegaard's fit. Obviously, we know Declan's going to be missing. I think he's flexible enough, and I think he's got the quality to play in a deeper role. I'll drop him back. I think they have options in there. But certainly I would play Raheem. I think he's a big game player, and Pedro Porro plays right back. He likes to play in the offensive areas of the field. I think if they're brave enough, Arsenal, and Mikel gets his tactics right, he leaves Sterling high and wide and lets him get the ball, I think he could hurt Tottenham. But going the other way, Pedro Porro, Raheem will not want to be running back with him. So it's a tactical battle what the managers have got to sort out. We know exactly how Tottenham are going to play. I love the way they want to play. Ange Postecoglou want to play on the front foot. He will go for the jugular, 100%. He will not worry about Arsenal. And Mikel will have to have a little think now. Whereas before, he would have picked his side picks itself almost, and then he just goes out. But with the 2 injuries, if Odegaard's missing, I think it really makes it level. I think it's a 50-50 game, I really do. But it'd be a high-scoring game for sure.
Yeah, it was 5 goals in this fixture last time. And as you mentioned, just Arteta with his absentees, we were hearing from Ange Postecoglou today that he might be boosted. The 2 players who were in doubt, in Solanke and Mickey van der Ven, available.
Yeah, and I think Mickey van der Ven, for me, is especially important. I think he has that pace that people talk about that you'll need, because the dynamic nature of the Arsenal attack, you've got to have mobile players. This is him here going the other direction. You see him just driving forward. Very capable player with the ball at his feet. Nice little slide ball here. And a really good finish by Son from a narrow angle. And that's also what Spurs are very good at. And that'll challenge Arsenal in the same regard, because Arsenal have shown they've been very, very good for over the last year at that defensive structure that they carry. But it'll be a really good test, I think, in this game.
Yeah, that was insane how he just went from one box to the other and then got an assist as well. Tottenham started the season, though, overall.
Disappointing points-wise. Performance-wise, they've been there, but they need to start transferring that into the points and get climbing up. I think they won't panic. I think he's trying to bed in a few new players. They need their players fit all of the time, and I think Van der Ven is a top draw player for me. He needs to be fit. Dominic Solanke looks like he might be back and ready to go. He needs a goal as well to get some confidence going and start his career off at Tottenham. Performance-wise, I wouldn't be alarmed. I think they just need to pick up a few more points, but they know that.
Do you go and sing all the horrible, some of the most vile songs I've heard, and funniest songs I've heard were at derbies? Do you go? Do you sing them?
I'm going this weekend. Yeah, I'm working for.
Will you sing?
Will I sing?
Yeah.
No, I won't be singing. No, I'll be sitting there. I'll be sitting on my hands.
There's going to be a sneaky camera on you.
Because where we sit, where we actually sit with the Premier League is just behind the away dugout.
Bench, yeah.
So Mikel is where you are there. Yeah. So I can't be saying too much, and I can't be cheering when Tottenham score, unfortunately.
On the inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a Sherwood cam on Sunday. Who do I speak to about that? Sherwood Camp. And we need you mic'd up as well.
I'm not sure they'll waste their time with that one.
Okay, that is the...
Oh, good to see everyone, honestly. I mean, Carl teed it up there, North London derby. Talk to me about this.
Why don't you talk to us about this?
9 goals last season. I mean, it's never not going to get action. The North London derby is a beautiful moment for an Arsenal fan, considering the most recent times. We've walloped Tottenham.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Liv, I'm glad that Io's in the studio and you can't hide behind something
I know.
down the line. I mean, we're looking, it's a great game for a neutral. It's a derby game of all the derby games that's finally poised as ever. Are you nervous?
I am a bit nervous. I mean, obviously, we're losing 2 key players. Odegaard, Declan Rice. That is massive.
I would say 2 of your 4. When I think of Arsenal, Saliba, Saka, Rice, and Odegaard are your 4 best players.
Yeah.
To not have 2 of them in a game that you already don't really know where it's going to go, even when both teams are fully fit, because even though your squad is better than theirs and your first team is better than theirs, in the North London derby, we know genuinely anything can happen.
And Io, just to add a little bit more doom to that,
Go on,
I always feel after the international break that the ground gets levelled a little bit. We don't quite know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but look, let's face it, man. If Arsenal want a gun, excuse the pun, forward this season and prove that actually this squad is able to cope with all different situations, Jorginho and Partey in the middle have to do the job. Also, I mean, let's not forget the attacking prowess. Trossard, Saka, Havertz still there. Raheem Sterling. I know we had a chat about Raheem Sterling before. I think he could be the extra little bit of spice that Arsenal need this season. On a personal note, I just think if we can get 4 or 5 key goals out of Raheem Sterling this season, in a match like that, that's when you bring a player like that on and maybe does that little sneaky thing around the back of the post, little tapping. That's all I ask for.
I mean,
Raheem, do the thing.
Yeah, you're going to need him to play like he did for Manchester City and play a similar role to what he did for Manchester City.
But Arteta knows him really well.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm intrigued about that. I'm intrigued. I think Arsenal fans have gone too far one way and Chelsea fans are going too far the other. Yeah. I think he's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. Maybe not as good as you expect, but not as bad as Chelsea fans expect.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
An extra 5 goals in big games could be the time. I don't know. Can Arsenal afford to lose this game already?
No, I just don't think if Arsenal are genuinely thinking of being title contenders, these are the kind of games that Arsenal have to win without a shadow of a doubt.
Psychologically, you never want to lose a North London derby. I think there's too much football to still play this season to say that it's going to have too much of a detrimental effect. Some good news for Arsenal fans, and maybe no surprise.
Let us know, go on.
The timing of this is really interesting for me, though. But Mikel and Arteta signing a...
Mikel and Arteta?
Yeah.
2 people.
Has he got a mate called Arteta as well?
And then they said Mikel Antonio. But Mikel Arteta... signing a 2-year extension to his deal.
Yeah, no, that's massive for Arsenal fans. And I think the timing of it just before the North London derby is absolutely perfect. You know, good vibes and all that kind of stuff. But if you think of the journey that he's been on with Arsenal, if you think of players that aren't there anymore, Ozil, Aubameyang, all that kind of stuff, that squad he inherited, to where Arsenal are at right now, the last 2 seasons really going toe-to-toe with Manchester City. I mean, this is fantastic news for Gunners, and I know we're all happy.
Yeah, you should be happy. But I do think that we're getting into territory now where Arsenal have to win something.
I think so. I think also this is a really selling season. I think you're spot on there, Liv. He has to do something, whether it's an FA Cup, whether it's a Carabao Cup, or something to show that, you know what, he's making progress. Let's not forget he's already won an FA Cup, but it was kind of like...
That doesn't count.
He came in for the final.
I mean, let me just say this. If Arsenal had a player like Thierry Henry, it would be making... this game a little bit easier, right? Yes. And talking of North London derby, if we are talking about iconic goals in the North London derby, this one is right up there. I mean...
How can you forget?
How far back has he picked that ball up? Take him out.
Do you see the strength? Do you see the strength of that player? Fakey, drop the shoulder, boom. TT at his finest.
That is... I mean, we are looking at the greatest player to have ever played in the Premier League, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
But that is the statue outside the Arsenal Stadium. And you know why.
Iconic.
It was iconic, isn't it?
It's a phenomenal goal. I mean, that is one of Thierry Henry's ultimates. And here he is discussing it with Michael Timms.
This one is a run. If Errington is behind me, I make sure that with my hand, I let him, see you later.
Just sit down.
But then what was good after is, I think, is Ledley King and Carl, that I make them believe I'm going to go. That's and finishing with my left.
Yeah.
So while I think I'm dumbing King and Carl, I can see Dennis coming, but in my mind I'm already stepping to finishing with my left, and all I'm thinking is that if I don't score there, he's gonna kill me. But then I did score, so and it's against Tottenham, and then people always remember that I went back the whole way to celebrate in front of them.
How good was that?
Thierry,
TT.
I mean, for Timsy as well, doing that interview, like he's the biggest
he's a big Arsenal fan, isn't he?
So to be sat across, and Thierry and me, I think everyone knows, is as nice as he seems in interviews. He's just lovely and, iconic.
Now, you can find out if that was his ultimate goal by watching the full feature, which is available on the Premier League's YouTube channel right now.
All right, let's head over to the fourth man today. We're going to head over to see where Carl is at. There we can see he's in West London ahead of the North London derby, and he's with the Front Three podcast guys right now having a quick chat. Kyle, North London derby, it's always a beauty, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is, Io. A huge weekend, and who better to break it down with than two of the three members of the Front Three podcast. We've got Dan and we've got Will. AJ's not here, but today, guys, I'm the third member. This is my audition to join the podcast. Let's talk about North London derby. This man will be featuring, I'm sure, this weekend. I'm not going to give away too much about what's happening here, but we've got a quiz coming up very, very shortly. Will, I'll start with you. You're the resident Arsenal fan. We can see it on the jacket. How big is this game? How big is the North London derby?
It's one of the biggest games in Arsenal season, whether you're talking about this season, any season, especially the context now, the fact that we've already dropped 2 points. And I know we've got lots of Arsenal fans saying the season is over because we dropped 2 points. But like I said, the context is key. We've got a lot of players missing. We have to win, especially against our arch rivals as well, Tottenham. So it's going to be a very big game.
Dan, you're the neutral when it comes to this fixture. However, the other two members of the podcast, both Arsenal fans.
Correct.
Have they been insufferable leading up to this one, ready for the Tottenham game? Do they think they're going to win?
They always think they're going to win. That's Arsenal fans. Until the game kicks off, one pass goes wrong and they're, this is what I'm saying. This is why we're going to lose. But I'm here to sort of keep their foot on the ground and keep them a bit sensible.
And talk to me about this weekend as the neutral. Do you enjoy watching the North London derby? Do you think it's one of the biggest in the country?
I had this thought in my mind that currently with the state of, let's say, La Liga, it might probably be the biggest derby in world football right now.
That is a big shout.
I'm just putting it out there. So of course, definitely, I think everyone will be tuning in, and the way the build-up has been is should be a big game for the neutrals also.
Will, we had some talk about it in the studio, the absentees. I mean, no Declan Rice. We've talked so much about the incident there. Odegaard injured as well. Calafiori he's not featured, I should say. Is this maybe where Raheem Sterling could come in and show what he's worth?
Yeah, he's a big game player. He's played for the biggest clubs in England. So I'm excited to see him play. I'm excited to see what Arteta's going to do as well, because this kind of puts him in the spotlight now. He hasn't got his best players. Let's see what he's made of.
Do you think that the Arsenal team is strong enough when it comes to depth to be able to go into big games like this and still come out with 3 points?
Well, I guess the proof will be in the pudding, because if you look at our transfer dealings, the players that left our club, there was a lot of Arsenal fans in unison who thought, actually, our squad depth isn't that great. And so I think this will be the real tester. It's a big North London derby as well, a big game as well. So I think this will put our squad to the test to see whether or not, our summer transfer window has actually worked.
Dan, Mikel Arteta, contract extension until 2027. Does he have to win a trophy soon just to prove how good he is as a manager?
It goes without saying, when you take on these jobs, and especially a club like Arsenal with the history they've had since Wenger left and him coming in now, I think that's what everyone else is looking forward to. Can he win the trophy? Yes, he's playing good football, they're attacking, they're keeping clean sheets, they're doing all these other things now, but you have to go that extra mile. Can he win it, though? It's another thing. I think coming up against the juggernauts that Manchester City, we had Jurgen Klopp did that with against Pep all these years, and he only ever got to win it once. Would Arteta do it? I don't know. If anyone can do it, though, he knows the dark arts that maybe Pep knows that he's been getting over the line with all these years. So he might be able to stop him. I still don't think they're strong enough to beat Manchester City to the title.
Oh, right, well, you guys are podding right now, as people will say. We have got a quiz, though. I want to come into this. You're going head-to-head. Higher or lower, that's the theme of this. There'll be different topics, OK? Will, as the Arsenal fan, I'm just going to say you're going first on this one, all right? It's all about North London derby goals in the Premier League. Higher or lower, does Bukayo Saka have more than Rafael van der Vaart? Is he higher or lower?
I'll say higher.
Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong on that one. Rafael van der Vaart has 4. Bukayo Saka only has 3 in the Premier League. In the Premier League, that is. OK, Dan, higher or lower? North London derby goals, Rafael van der Vaart with 4, or Gareth Bale?
That's a... Gareth Bale. Let's go Gareth Bale.
Higher?
Higher.
Correct. There we are. 1 point for you. OK, then. Next up, North London derby goals. Gareth Bale or Robert Perez?
Higher.
You think Perez higher?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because he's played so many North London derbies. So
I'm making sure you're not checking my notes right here. Okay, that is correct.
Yeah.
1-1 between you. Right, we are going to change now the topic. Okay, this is now North London derby appearances. Okay, Robert Perez, he's got 11. Do you think he's got more than Ray Parlour?
I would have to say no. Ray Parlour's got more.
You are correct. Look at this. Come on, Dan. Ray Parlour has 19. OK, next up, Ray Parlour against Hugo Lloris. Higher or lower, who has the most North London derby appearances?
Ooh. I'm going to say Hugo's got more North London derby appearances.
Correct. 2-2. Hugo Lloris has got 22 of those. He's the most amount of North London derbies in Premier League history, if you didn't know. OK, here we are. Next up, managed and played for Mikel Arteta. But Hugo Lloris, higher or lower?
Hugo Lloris higher.
22. I think I gave that one away by saying that he's the most. Yeah, I saw that smile on your face just there. That's another point to you. 3-2. All right, and here we are. Mikel Arteta or Son Heung-min, who's got the most?
Son has got the most.
Son's got more. He does, 3-3, which means we've got a tiebreaker very, very quickly. Who has the most amount of cards out of the teams, OK? Or how many yellow cards have been shown in this fixture in Premier League history?
How many? So we need to guess the number of yellow cards.
The closest to it wins.
234.
4.
Oh, I thought you meant in combined, so...
In total. Oh, 234. What are you going for, Will?
I'm going for 250.
I'm going to reveal the answer a little bit later on. I'm going to keep these guys sweating just here. But guys, thank you for that North London derby chat. I'm looking forward to it. Let's keep it at Spurs, though. And it's time for a Pawsome feature. See what I did there? Liv and Ments, over to you. Ruff, ruff.